pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody, and those of our listening audience. First item on our agenda is the minutes of November 2nd, regular and executive session. Mr. Yule.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the November 2, 2009 regular minutes as written.
Motion by Mr. Yule. Do I hear a second? Second by Mr. Bino. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain. I was not present.
Motion passes 4-0 and 1 abstention. And make a note of this, Mr. O'Leary. Executive session of November 2nd. Mr. Yule.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me. I move to approve the November 2nd, 2009 executive session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, seconded by Mr. Vino. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? And I'm not unanimous. 4-0 and 1 abstention. Correspondence. Yellow sheets. Yes. Evening. Jeff? Joe? It's
It's in your packet.
in the packet. Did you circle, you wanted a copy of that?
Yeah.
I think it's already in your
Is
packet.
it? Okay.
I think it's in tonight's. Okay. Anyone here for public comment? Okay, next item on our agenda is a resolution in support of updating the MA bottle bill. And I think before, what do I do with it?
There's a pink copy. Bob.
I mixed up my, I see it. So the recycling committee is asking us to support a resolution in support of potential change in the bottle bill, which would basically add, I guess it's a nickel, to bottled water, sports drinks, and teas.
All
So on and so
non-carbonated.
forth, although it's not clear as to what the government, what the governor or what the legislature is going to approve. So I'll read the resolution in support of updating the Massachusetts bottle bill, and then we'll vote to either support it or not. This is what they're requesting. A resolution in support of updating the Massachusetts bottle bill. Whereas the Massachusetts bottle bill enacted in 1982 has allowed North Reading residents to enjoy a cleaner environment by creating an incentive for users of certain beverage containers to recycle those used containers, and whereas states with deposit laws have higher residential recycling rates of beverage containers than those of non-deposit states, and whereas litter decreases in states with bottle bills averages 70 to 85%, and whereas through the Massachusetts bottle bill we recycle nearly 80% of deposit containers, but only 20% of non-deposit containers, and whereas the Governor of the Commonwealth and members of the Massachusetts State Senate and House of Representatives have recognized that the original bottle bill does not take into account those beverages such as bottled water, sports drinks, and teas, and whereas the addition of bottled water, sports drinks, and teas to the bottle bill will decrease the total volume of municipal solid waste that is needed to be collected, thus saving disposal fees, be it resolved that we, the North Reading Board of Selectmen, commemorate the 27th anniversary of implementation of the Massachusetts bottle bill. Furthermore, be it resolved that the town of North Reading be placed on a record as being in support of the Massachusetts beverage container deposit law and encourage its strength through expanding the list as recommended by the Governor in his proposed budget and currently being considered by the House and Senate Joint Committee on Telecommunications, Utility, and Energy. Furthermore, be it resolved that North Reading goes on record in supporting programs that encourage residents and visitors to return or recycle all beverage containers and other recyclable materials to fully utilize the current available recycling programs. Be it further resolved that North Reading instruct our state representative and state senator and our governor to support and vote in favor of updating the Massachusetts container beverage law. That's the scope of the resolution. Discussion? I'll make a motion. You want to make a motion first?
I move to recommend. Second.
Discussion. Mr. O'Leary.
I think it's a good idea and long overdue from an environmental standpoint. Again, it's long overdue. I just look at, I mean, I spend an awful lot of time at sports events and sports fields and kids' events. And, there's an awful lot of containers that are not being recycled. You know, all the energy drinks, all the bottled waters, iced teas, and those types of things alike. There's no good reason why it shouldn't be. I think people are pretty much used to recycling now and getting their nickels back on a lot of other containers. So why not just add to the pile and bring it back to the redemption center and get your nickel back and do what's right as far as environmental concerns. I'm all in favor of expanding it.
I concur with Mr. O'Leary for all those reasons.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about this, I'll reach back to when I was a kid, when they used to have the bottle law, and we used to watch all the adults play games, and they'd have the beverages and they're reading there. And as kids, we'd go around and we'd collect those bottles, and that was spending money for us. That might, you know, times might be a lot different now than they are back then. But one of the points that does happen is that if bottles are left behind, there's always somebody out there picking them up because there is some little nickel value to them. If they, you know, if a kid winds up with 25 of them, they have 25 cents and so on. So one way or another, everything gets picked up, and that's what's important, and parks remain clean.
Any comments?
Yes, I'm in support of it. I think it's a good idea also.
The chair is very much in support of it, so at this point I'll ask for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Okay, 7:30 we have a tax hearing, 8:45 the application for Santa Cafe, so I guess we'll go right to the town administrator's report.
Even, you just refer to the old copy that's in the packet this evening. First item that I have on the administrator's report is a request concerning a vacancy in the police department. As you know, we've recently had one retirement of a senior member of the department. One of our patrol officers retired the earlier part of the month. That presently brings us down to 6 sergeants and 17 patrol officers. There were 2 previous vacancies that I elected not to fill. However, in this case, with the retirement, I would propose to the board that we proceed with filling the position. The estimated cost I've outlined in the board in the memo. The base salary is $39,978, and I've estimated holiday pay as $1,845. So the total estimated cost of salary for the position would be $41,823, and I'd like to move forward on that issue at this point. To get that position filled, we have to requisition a list through civil service, and I think it's the right thing to do.
I hear a motion. Mr. O'Leary.
I just have you know, the motion, I have a question. So you want-
No, I'm
the
asking
motion?
for a motion, or you have a question.
No, you can have the motion, then I'll ask the questions at a discussion.
Someone want to make a motion?
Do we have a motion?
No, we don't, and I don't need one. I'm just looking for consensus of the board to move forward.
Okay, I have a
All
question.
right, that's true.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. O'Leary.
Just in relation to the estimated cost, does that anticipate Quinn bill or not Quinn bill?
No Quinn bill payment is included in here.
So there's a potential for up to 25% additional.
Depends on
Right.
the individual and what his education is.
Right, I know,
Right.
but the potential, the exposure is still there as far as
Right.
who was ever on the list and who's, And as far as, do we have a current list that we would be working off of? Civil service?
The Civil Service will provide us with what's called the rehire list, which includes any police officers who have been laid off throughout the Commonwealth. So we'll have to first look at bringing in any of those people who are rehires. And then we also have a list of reserve officers, who any of those may indicate an interest in the position, so.
So in the case of a rehire, we very definitely could have a Quinn bill, at least the town
As
chair.
well
Quinn
as,
bill.
on the rehire, do they come in with total years of experience and so on and so forth? So if they've had 5 years, they actually would come in at a
Yes, they do.
higher step?
Yes, they do.
Okay, so this number could be, well, up to 25% more if they come in at the base.
Well, it could be 12.5% more right now.
12 and a half or up to 20, depending upon how the court suit is settled. Whatever the legislature does for us, or to
So,
us.
is everybody in support of
Yes,
filling
I'm
that position?
definitely in support.
Sean?
I have a couple of questions. The cost of this position is currently in the police budget for
It
FY
is.
'10?
Yes, it's been budgeted, yes.
And in addition to that, too, the retirement costs associated with the retiring officer?
It's not
is that-
budgeted. It was not anticipated.
Do we know what those costs are?
I'm estimating somewhere in the range of about $50,000 in retirement costs.
And where would those
We'll-
funds be coming from?
We'll have to secure that funding at April town meeting. I've got a couple of sources of funds that I'm looking at. It'll be a transfer from within an existing department budget where we would look to have surplus funds by April to be able to fill that amount.
Is it imperative to fill this position now, or wait till FY '11?
Confident that we should proceed in filling the position because this is really the third position that we have right now in the department that has come open within the last year and a half. Certainly understand the need in not filling the first two positions, but I think at this point it's appropriate to move forward.
Mr. Delaconis, what would be the impact if we don't fill the position at this point?
I think what you're beginning to experience is the department requiring a number of its officers to work overtime shifts, or shifts aren't being filled. So in terms of the impact on it, I would have to ascertain that directly from the chief as to whether there would be an impact on specific programs. But the town is expending, not necessarily a one-for-one swap, but the town is having to fill that position on a periodic basis since we've had that individual retire in the department. And although it's not necessarily a money savings thing, it is something that would provide assistance in terms of manpower.
Just, looking at the list that you had at the last meeting as far as unfunded, what was the reference, unfunded commitments, unfunded, exposures, unfunded
Right.
exposures, okay, this was not included, that $50,000 that you referred to. And then, do we have any, and I know we're down three people now, 3 officers. Have we been able, or has the chief been asked to quantify not filling the position, what it does mean as far as overtime costs, and if we carry it on for a few more months as opposed to
No.
immediately filling?
I haven't asked him for that information.
You know, and again, I don't know if there's been analysis as far as the cost savings, or maybe there may not be a cost savings, realize if we're paying time and a half to people to fill shifts. And I think we're gonna be in a position, or we are in a position where we have to pinch every penny we can, but at the same time balance, public safety. I'm in favor of filling this position at some particular point in time, maybe now, but the other two, I still concur with your position of holding them open for the time being. But, I'd like to know if there is if we can quantify it.
I would agree. I'd like to hear from the chief in terms of that analysis. What's he expending in overtime?
You're